Hi guys, it's Digital Sticks, and I'm braving a public instance of the hub, attempting to make another video regarding what VR to get for VRChat. So, as we're looking around at these people that are playing VRChat right now, they're just hanging out in the public hub, and there's just a variety of basic silliness going on. And so some of these basic experiences, you can, any 6-stuff headset that connects to a PC capable of PC VR is going to get the job done. In this world, it's cross-play, and so any cross-play avatars that people are using can be seen by anybody, so you could actually come into this world with the Quest to even stand alone, and the content you see would just be limited by who's using cross-play avatars and who isn't. So what VR to get for VRChat? And the reason I'm revisiting this today is because somebody is attempting, or was on Reddit attempting to create a flowchart to help people with this. And that's further proof that it's definitely complicated in a way that the regular discussion on VR is not. And so what is that? Well, first off, ironically, like one of the major VR tech people on YouTube, he actually plays VRChat regularly. He's been clear at times about its worth to him as a VR game and its importance, and he does his streaming from it normally. And yet, even him, including the others, they neglect this game when they're discussing VR headsets and technology and what things are worth. And it's unfortunate to see. This is people that know about VRChat that want VR for VRChat are a completely different market than people that are just wanting VR in general because they finally caught on to some of the stuff that looks cool. People that have been playing games that are cross-play and now they want to join the VR players of the game they play. Things like that. Just about every other scenario for VR can leave somebody saying, what's the point of finger tracking? What's the point of full body? What is the point of touch controlling? And they can say that because there is no point to the games that they enjoy and that they play. And all of that is completely opposite for VRChat. What's the point of tracking behind your back? Well, in a game, minus reloading sometimes, there's not much of a point. But with VRChat, that is the point. Here I am on camera talking. And I'm not having to be mindful of where my hands are. I'm not going to be broken. So I'm making this video of VTubing basically with VRChat, and I can, and it looks very good because I have full tracking. I have full body tracking as well, and it just helps. And so it is very important. And it helps other people's immersion and their experience as well. And if you're going to dance in VRChat,
he's making
yeah.
a video about
You don't want to be broken and janky in VRChat. You want to look whole and have your immersion as strong as possible. And everything that adds immersion just tremendously enhances this game. And basically what I tell people is as soon as you think if something sounds good and you're going to like it, then you're going to love it if you get a hold of it. You won't regret buying it if you're going to upgrade your VRChat experience. If you're in here and something gets a chance to capture your interest, then you're going to like it. And it's going to be well worth the money. Even if it's expensive, you're not going to regret the expense. You're going to be glad that you did it, providing that you're not going to be homeless for spending the money, as long as you're being sensible. So coming full circle, the reason I'm making this video again is because one of the things that was overemphasized on this flowchart is wireless. And at the same time wireless was being overemphasized, the trade-offs that come with the wireless solutions today were being left off the table. And so first off, wireless in VR is not the same thing as wireless outside of elsewhere.
I can't
like
do anything with the hat.
Yeah, like with the wireless phone. You can use the phone every bit as well, even better being wireless than you could being tethered. The phone conversation quality. And now the technology is further advanced. Now it's even better. But even in the beginning, the conversation quality was on par, basically, and you could talk just as long and all those things, but you were not tethered. And so wireless was a huge plus, and it was definitely something you would definitely want with your phone service. And now obviously we have cell phones that we use all the time. We don't even have home phones anymore, and so that's a completely different perspective on wireless than the realities of VR, where you're sorry, I get distracted when they start interacting with me, but when you're in VR, it's not just a matter of the same experience, only wireless. Nobody would pass on that. Okay. Nobody would pass on that. Everybody would want that, but that's just not the reality of it. And so, so the, all right. So the point to that is with VR, you're going to have limitations on battery life. You're going to have limitations on fidelity. There's all kinds of trade-offs that come with wireless. You're going to have latency introduced through wireless solutions, etc. And so that brings in a whole lot of other questions about priorities than just whether or not you want wireless. And so I think the wireless emphasis, especially for VRChat, is largely coming from people that have no experience with VR, and they're just assuming that would be important. And they're not completely wrong, but they just don't understand all the compromises and that there's more to the discussion than whether or not you want to wire or not. And so with that said, the fidelity and the full solid experience you get with an index is the best you can get for VRChat. So what VR should you buy for VRChat? See, that's the way the question's often worded. That would be the index kit. Now, can you buy an index kit? That's where it gets complicated because some people simply can't afford it. Some people can't get it where they live. And so they do have to decide on something else. And that's fine as long as we understand where we're going with this. And so any headset that's capable of working with PC VR is going to work with VRChat because VRChat's on Steam, and Steam supports every headset. So you can play VRChat on PC, which is about any VR headset. As long as it's a mainstream headset that can play Steam games, you're going to be good. You're going to actually be able to play the game. So if you get your hands on something, hand-me-down or otherwise, use it. Any VR that can work inside VRChat, especially with PC, if you have a PC capable of VR, is going to be better than nothing VR, without a doubt. But if you can spend, if you're buying your VR and you're buying a new device or whatever, that's where you really want to make sure you're getting it right. Your best value in VR is to get the right VR from the beginning, if at all possible. And so that's basically the update here, is that the index is the VR you should get for VRChat because it's got everything that enhances this game. There's nothing that's left out of. The one thing coming out now soon is the Vive face tracking. The only device officially supported for that face tracking is the Vive Pro. And is that face tracking a reason to go out and buy the Vive Pro alone? No. But you don't have to. There's already people that have printed 3D adapters of their own to connect it to the index and to connect it to the Quest 2. So face tracking is going to be the next new level of immersion that's available, and it's going to be worth it. How soon VRChat's going to implement that, I don't know, but with their track record, there's little doubt that they will. And so that's going to come up, but it's not really changing what you should buy. People are going to make that work with just about everything. But with the index, you've already got a USB port on the front. You've got the ability to plug that right in, and it's going to be probably one of the simplest ways to actually use that face tracking once you add whatever adapter you're going to need to make it work. And so that'll be cool. But again, people playing first-person shooters or racing sims, they're going to be like, what's the point of face tracking? And again, for them, there's not going to be much of a point. And so hopefully that helps you see that why there's such a big difference in the discussion for VRChat versus these other games. And that's where these elements that add quality to other headsets, many of which were deliberately compromised on the Quest, that's why they're important, and that's why they get so much attention from myself and from a few others as well. So, anyways, I hope this helps you on that decision. Basically, that flowchart is not working. It's not getting there. A flowchart that actually covers all the elements needed is just going to be outrageous. But I was hoping they were getting to something. It'd be great to share. I'm not trying to just extend this out indefinitely, but we still are in a position that there is not a solid budget option for VRChat, and we'll just have to wait until that gets there. In the meantime, for the full experience of VRChat, it's an index kit is really the only way to get it out of just a straight new headset. You can see my previous videos. The information on older headsets really hasn't changed much. There are, the CV1 would be a good starter headset. You're going to have to put up with Facebook stuff to use any Oculus product now, which is unfortunate, but that still can't take away from the fact that the CV1, even as older technology, was really, really incredible as a starting headset for this game, for VRChat. It's so comfortable, it's so light. And people that have seen my videos where I revisited mine and passed that on have shared they too had similar experiences, that they too had forgotten it was so light and comfortable and all of that. So anyways, that's something you can consider if you can find one used. It's just hard to recommend a used headset as the headset to get. And if you need to buy a Quest 2, if you can't afford an Index, which is a lot of people, that's fine. But what I say there, what I recommend to everybody is you only need one entry-level headset. So don't do gimmicky upgrades past that headset. Make sure you're aiming towards what you really want. And for VRChat, for the full experience, for the foreseeable future, that goal would be the Index kit. Hopefully there'll be some other things emerging soon, but there's been nothing really announced. The most compelling announcement or discussion of a future VR headset is the Deca Gear headset, but that's being started and produced by a company that has basically got a lot of buzz for talking about their goals, but they haven't actually ever produced a headset, let alone produced even a prototype of the one they claim they're going to make. So whether it comes about is one question mark. The next question mark is going to be whether it actually works as we would like it to or as intended, because some of what they're trying to do with their tracking is really following the course of HTC in their failed effort for inside-out tracking. So we got to wait and see if that one checks out. But if it does, then that's going to be really a compelling consideration for VRChat. It's going to come with at least an option for a hip tracker, which honestly, I've experimented sometimes with using only a hip tracker in addition to my controllers. That it really does help the turning to connect your body more fully with your headset. It does help. It adds an extra layer. There's really no reason to stop short of leg trackers if you have base stations already and a tracker. You might as well, at that point, when you can get full body tracking for $200 more, there's no reason to stop shy of that. But still, just the hip tracker alone adds a surprising additional level of fidelity. So that's one advantage to the Deca Gear if it comes out. And it's supposed to I think it is supposed to have face tracking included with it or something. I can't remember. I think it was face tracking though. So it's going to be interesting if they pull it off. But in the meantime, there's not a budget option on the radar screen. That's going to be everything you want it to be. We're still still at a market in a situation where the Index is the headset to recommend. And I'll certainly share if that changes. And again, just because you can't afford one doesn't mean that reality has changed. But that's where the other conversations come in. And honestly, at this point, there's so many trade-offs and compromises between all the other options that whatever you can get your hands on, whatever appeals to you out of that based off of reviews you've seen or whatever, that's going to be the headset you should go with. And then again, you only need one entry-level headset. And the other advice I give when you have to settle for something less than what you should be getting is to purchase PC games through Steam VR. for many reasons, but you can be free of Facebook with your library. So if anything changes with your relationship with Facebook, you won't lose your games. You're not going to be limited to Oculus products in order to keep access to your games either. It just there's cross-buy for some games on Oculus that makes them kind of compelling over buying them on Steam, but really search yourself and see if having it available for Quest Standalone is worth discarding it later if you go with a different headset, and just figure out what works for you. Or if it's worth it, then of course you can buy it just on Oculus, and then later, if you do change headsets, just count that as part of the cost and buy it again on Steam at that point. But just find out if you have a reason to do that from the beginning or not. Otherwise, the best place to buy games right now for VR and for the foreseeable future is going to be Steam. They have tended to have better sales, and they support more functionality. You can have overlays. The streams you watch of VR content, they're all created by streamers that are using Steam VR and tools that are available only through Steam VR. And the majority of them are using the index kit on top of that. So that's where streaming VR content requires some of this extra fidelity that just simply playing the games does not in many cases. So that's why they use index. And again, that's where what VR should you get? Well, if we take out the budget and all the things that would limit your personal ability to get it, the answer is an index. But getting back to all the other things we've discussed, we know that that's not an option for necessarily everybody. That's fine, and you can't go wrong by having a headset that works inside VRChat. It's going to be a good experience, even if it's just the Quest standalone. The caveat there is if you've already established yourself in this game on desktop with a lot of PC players, and you're used to longer sessions, then it's hard to say with confidence that the Quest standalone version is going to scratch your itch much for this game at all. It's for some of the reasons I've discussed, if not just now in this video, in a previous attempt at this video, which is Quest users are limited by default to less than 2 hours of battery life. So even the few that find a workaround for that while still using the Quest standalone, they're still going to be the exception, not the rule. And the people that they're encountering in this game are going to primarily be limited to that battery life. And when they friend people in Quest, they're going to be catching them only when they're on a rare occasion when their 2 hour window lines up with their 2 hour window or whatever. And the depth of conversations and the experiences and the adaptation to this game is going to be much less than what it is for somebody with a high quality PC VR setup that can spend hours on end in legitimate social situations that are exactly the way they would be, or mostly what they would be in real life if they can meet in the same terms in real life. That's the immersion. That's where the extra quality comes in. It makes VRChat virtual reality instead of just another VR game. And the people that can appreciate that then understand why the Index is the best headset for that, and why some of the compromises that come with trying to use a Quest 2 wirelessly or as a hybrid setup and all of these other things are really not acceptable compromises if there's an option to not have to settle for those. So that's all there is to it. That's not what everyone wants to hear. There's going to be people that cannot afford an index kit that were already aware that the index kit is probably the best one to get, that are not going to be happy with the news that's kind of the unnegotiable reality here. But basically it is the unnegotiable reality here. So just enjoy what you can out of VRChat, get the headset you can get, and then make a determination that as you enjoy VR, that you're going to set your sights on the headset that you really want, and don't get suckered into any stair-step, gimmicky so-called upgrades in the meantime, because those are only going to make VR more expensive for you. They're only going to drag out your discontentment. As soon as you're content with VR, it gets a lot more affordable. I explained to somebody in my YouTube comments today, I haven't made a big investment in my VR setup for over a year and a half. And my last major investment was my Index itself. And that's how good the kit has been. So you compare that to the people that bought Quests at the same time that then had to have the Quest 2, and you look at all the accessories they've bought trying to make that thing comfortable and all of those things. And the quality of my experience versus theirs and the amount we spent versus theirs, the price differences are actually quite minimal, if there's even a difference at all. But the quality experience is drastically better with the Index kit. And I've tried to share that message as much as possible, because that is the best advice to help people get more for their money, is to help them see that reality and accept that reality and see where they fit within it and make the best thing happen for themselves. So I'm Digital Sticks. I think I'm looping on my points here, going in circles. So I'm going to wrap this up. We'll see if I'm happy with this one. And if you like this, if you found it helpful, be sure to like the video. Always appreciated. Appreciate subscriptions. And of course, comment down below with your thoughts on this as well, your experiences with any headsets. And if here I am not having a budget option that I'm happy about, if you have one that you would recommend, share that down below and let's have a discussion about it. Because ultimately, this game is worth getting VR for, and the best we can get people for their money and their budget is good for them, good for the game, good for all of us, that more people are in here enjoying this experience at a high quality level. So I'm out. Thank you. Have a good day.